There's only one way out. Go bathe yourself in fire.
And I was lying in the grass by a river. And as I lay, the grass turned to sand.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to first and foremost welcome you to Hell. Thank you all for coming this evening to the Inferno from me, the entire cast, crew, and production team. I am the director, Grassi. I'm an undergraduate here at UNI. I have been involved with the Interpreters Theater for 4 years now, this being my fourth and obviously best show. As a courtesy to the cast, I ask you to refrain from any forms of technology. Please take this time now to shut off your cell phones. Please turn them on silent, not vibrate. The use of cameras and video cameras is not allowed. There will be plenty of time for you to grab a close-up with me, an autograph, and obviously the cast, of course, after the show. I would like to personally thank Dr. Paul Siddens. Without him, we all wouldn't be here. He's also the one to blame for putting us through hell. Any grievances can be directed to him. Be sure to check out your programs for the many, many thanks that I do not have the time to give right now. You may have noticed, though, that in the programs there will be a brief intermission in between Acts 1 and 2. This will give you the time to stretch and head to the restroom. Other than that, I would ask you to please remain in your seats, sit back, and enjoy the show. It's going to be one hell of a show.
There's only one way out. Go bathe yourself in fire.
And I was lying
Welcome to hell!
by a river.
Welcome, everyone!
And as I lay, the grass turned to
I
sand.
thought I'd see you
And the
down
river
here.
turned to a sea. And suddenly the sea burst
You
into
come here
flames,
often?
And the sand was burning.
You must be with
breathed in.
Authentica.
And there was smoke in my lungs. And there was fire in my brain. And I looked around me, and there were all these shapes being sucked into the flames. And they were writhing and trying to escape. And I knew that I had to get out.
Hello, Electronicus. You seem proud of yourself now that you're in charge down here.
Authentica. How lovely of you to visit. Yes, by the beard of Steve Jobs, we are busier than we've ever been in hell. It seems people just can't wait to join us. And they become much more creative in the sins they indulge themselves in, too. I'm having a hard time keeping up with them. Creating punishments just right, you know. Nasty enough for all these delicious new sins.
Well, I'm sure that you're doing your best and enjoying every minute of it.
Of course I am. Nothing I love more than a good challenge. And look at all my servants, completely immersing themselves in my electronic devices to the absolute exclusion of all else. How proud I am of them. They've swallowed the bait, hook, line, and sinker, and I'm just reeling them in.
I suppose the 7 deadly sins have changed much over the years, especially with your beloved technology now present.
Yes, they certainly have. Why, just look at gluttony. They used to think of it only as eating to excess, and they're still really, really good at that. But now it's taken on a whole new weight that even I couldn't have imagined.
Such as?
Supersize me! Just look at everything we have today. Things like mile-long, all-you-can-eat buffets, triple thick burgers with globs of cheese and pounds of bacon slathered all over them. Plastic big gulp cups, ginormous enough to hold more soda than your own blood volume. Fast food joints everywhere, with food with no nutritional value whatsoever. And eating contests, where the goal is for everyone to literally pig out.
Electronicus, why must you live this way? Why can't you help them like me? We could work together. We could help them solve their problems and create a better world.
Don't overload your floppy disk. Not in my job description, sweetie pie. That's your bag. We were created to be opposites. I'm the yin to your yang. The bad to your good. The dark to your light. The spicy to your bland. In fact, this is so awesome, I hardly have to do anything at all. The world is doing it to itself, and I get to just sit back and enjoy it. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Look at all the wonderful things they're doing to cut themselves off from each other and the world around them with my beautiful electronic toys.
I shudder to think of it. But go on.
Just look at how they isolate themselves from my technology. They're texting, sexting, taking selfies, tweeting, Instagramming, yik-yakking, and no one pays attention to anyone else. No one talks face to face anymore.
Electronicus, you don't get it. Yes, these people make a lot of mistakes and create problems for themselves, but they are worth saving, and that's what I will always strive to do.
By Microsoft's prophets, well spoken, but I expect no less. You have proven to be a worthy foe time and time again. At times you even make this tedious game we play interesting.
Thank you for your kind words. How unexpected.
It's the least I could do. And never let it be said that I didn't do the least I could do.
How true. Since you seem to be in such a jolly mood today, would you consider a proposal from me? Grant me a boon, perhaps?
I'm always willing to at least listen to my worthy colleague and foe. What boon could I possibly grant you?
Well, your powers allow you to rule in hell and to move about as you wish. You can go wherever you want. But you are also granted free access to Earth, my domain, and you can also see what is happening there and roam about as you wish.
Yes? Your grasp of the obvious is quite complete. What's your point?
Well, I am not given such freedom. Of course, I can see all of Earth and can move about there as I wish, but I am not granted the freedom of movement in hell that you are on Earth. I can come down here to visit you, but only on your terms, and I can only be here in your presence. I can't move around on my own.
And you want the freedom to come and go down here, I suppose? The powers granted to you that are granted to me? Why, for compact's sake? That's preposterous. First of all, I wouldn't consider it. Second of all, it's not my power to give anyway. She who gave us our powers is the only one who could do that. And apparently, she saw fit not to.
No, that's actually not the boon that I request. Nothing so expansive as that, only a small favor. You have hinted during our visit today at the changes that have taken place in your domain, and have shared with me just a small bit of them. Given the multitudinous new sins that you celebrate now, there must be much more down here than I can begin to imagine. After all, it's been centuries since I've seen your domain in total, and much has changed since then.
Yes? Go on. What's your point, for ASCII's sake? What do you want?
I only ask to be given a day to visit your domain unimpeded, to witness for myself your power and creativity in making your charges suffer for their sins. I wish to see how these new sins are dealt with by you and your minions. Just a day. That is all.
Interesting. Just one day. And just you.
One day. Just me.
I don't know about that.
What do you fear? That I may learn something that I could use against you?
No, nothing like that. In fact, I am willing to grant you this boon. One day. Just not by yourself.
Of course, you don't trust me down here by myself. You will insist on accompanying me?
No, not me, as a matter of fact. One of your acolytes. I have nothing to hide from you, or from those who worship you rather than me. If I'm going to show you the magnificence of my realm, I might as well show it to someone who thinks you know what you're doing too, for the love of Bill Gates.
That is most generous of you, my friend and colleague. I accept your magnanimity and thank you. Do you have someone in mind to travel with me, or do you wish for me to make that choice?
As a matter of fact, I do have someone in mind. Do you remember back centuries ago when another Earth journeyed through my realm with the company of the poet Virgil? His name was Dante.
Oh, yes, I remember that. Sometime around the 1300s, wasn't it?
Yes. Well, it happens that one of Dante's many descendants currently lives on Earth. And it would amuse me immensely if the sins of the father were to be visited on one of the sons. This one's name is Danny, and he is an annoyingly devout follower of your dogma.
Yes, I know of whom you speak. He seems the most noble and capable choice for this journey. He has a good heart and a strong mind. I agree completely with this choice.
Fair enough. However, know this. You must find this Danny and convince him to make this journey with you. No one else may accompany you, and you may not go by yourself. Do you agree?
Agreed.
You and your charge will enter hell through the earthly entrance. You will be able to travel through all 9 levels of my dominion. I will meet you where I reside on the 9th level. That is the only time I will join you. You will be able to communicate with anyone you wish, be it sinner or one of my minions. You must navigate any obstacle you encounter on your own, using your own powers. I will not assist you. Do you understand?
I understand. I take my leave now. I will find Danny and we will begin our journey at first light, one day from tomorrow.
Au revoir. Pleasant journey. May you meet a reckoning as true as a Tari's on your voyage. Now, where were we?
Good morning, friend. How are you this beautiful day? Do you know who I am, Danny?
Well, you look like the High Priestess Authentica, but I couldn't imagine why she'd want to come visit me.
You are quite correct, Danny. I am Authentica. And I want to talk to you about something that's very important for all of us.
You want to talk to me? About what? Did I do something wrong?
No, Danny, it's nothing that you've done. It's something that I need you to do. I'd like for us to go on a journey, but it's not going to be an easy one.
A journey to where? Where do you want to go?
Before we talk about that, Danny, I want to chat with you about some other things. First, tell me, as you look at the world around you, what do you see? What do you feel good about? What troubles you?
Well, I think there's a lot of good in the world, but there's a lot of bad as well. I mean, there are people that are out there volunteering and trying to help the homeless, but for every one of those, there's someone else who just sits around doing nothing, expecting other people to get things done.
I see. Go on, please.
Well, People are always on their phones, they're in class texting and checking notifications. Nobody talks face to face anymore. Everybody's just absorbed in their devices, you know?
Yes, I do. Are there other things that you see as problems today?
Well, everything's down to a level of sound bites and tweets. We used to read novels and newspapers and poetry. Everything was much deeper, but now it seems as if everything has to be digital to have value.
That is true. My counterpart, Electronicus, says that his technology benefits the world, causing no problems at all, but I couldn't disagree more. What do you think?
I agree. It's also the dumbing down of how we communicate. I mean, there are posts on Facebook talking about social activism and advocating for justice, but for every one of those, there's a piano-playing grumpy cat or 1,000 bunnies with pancakes on their heads.
That is more than true, unfortunately. What else troubles you, Danny?
Well, lots, I guess, now that you got me thinking about it. I mean, I think of all the poor in the world and all the rich who got that way off of those who had little or nothing. I think about the environment, too. I mean, sea levels are raising as high as the poverty level. When I think of it all, it just comes to my head so quick.
Danny, you're a good person, Danny. You worry for others more than yourself. There's no doubt in my mind that you are the person I'd like to accompany me on my journey. Why don't we talk about that?
All right, I'm interested.
Danny, as time has evolved, good and evil in our world have also evolved. And it appears that Electronicus is finding new challenges in creating appropriate punishments for these new sins we are encountering. He has agreed to allow me to visit hell for one day. And he has proposed that I bring someone with me to also witness what occurs in hell today.
So let me guess. You want me to go with you?
Yes, I do. But to be completely honest, Electronicus is the one who selected you. And I agree with him, especially after talking with you today.
Holy crap! Pardon my French, is just way intense, you know? Electronicus selected me? But why?
I'm sure you've read Dante's Divine Comedy, haven't you?
Yes, I have. In fact, they say I'm related to him. Very distantly, of course.
That's why Electronicus selected you. He appreciated the symmetry of one of Dante's relatives accompanying me on this journey.
I don't know what to say. This is hell.
Danny, I'm not going to lie to you. This will be the most difficult journey you'll undertake in your life. You may find yourself feeling pity for those suffering in hell, and you may want to help them somehow. But you can't. There is nothing that anyone can do for them now. They've committed their sins, and they must pay for them. You can't save them, and you'll have no choice but to accept that.
But I don't know what to say. I mean, I know I'm related to Dante and all, but I'm no adventurer, no hero. Why don't you choose somebody who is? I'm just your average, everyday college kid.
Danny, you have more strength and bravery in you than you know. I see into your heart and your mind and your soul. I would not have agreed to select you for this task if I didn't think you worthy of it.
All right. I shall follow you into hell as my ancestor did with Virgil.
Thank you, Danny. But I must also tell you this. I will be leading you through a world of pain, where dead souls writhe in endless agony and clamor as they beg to die again. And you'll see vile spirits of another sort who find contentment in the fire and hope to one day take their place among those administering the punishments we shall observe. You must be wary every second we are down there. We will be in the presence of those who would steal you from me every second. But I will be with you and will protect you.
I understand the importance of our journey. I shall follow you despite the dangers we shall face. You lead and I shall follow.
Let us proceed then, Danny. Steel yourself for a journey such as you could never imagine. And trust me to remain at your side throughout. I will not let you down.
go now.
No, Danny, I know. It is horrifying, but this is it. The entrance to hell. They make it as frightening as possible to keep those still alive away from it, and to give those doomed to it a taste of what they can expect below. The sounds you hear are the screams of those who suffer down there for their sins.
Through me, the way to pain everlasting? Through me, the way to the souls of the damned? Abandon all hope, you enter here? That's not just in Dante's book. That's for real, and you expect us to go down there? Are you serious?
Yes, Danny, you have to trust me. I will protect you.
I'm sorry. This is too much. I gotta go.
Danny!
What's that smell? What's that sound? What's happening to them down there, Authentica?
They scream this way because they have no hope of redemption or even the release of death. They will live in hell forever, suffering their punishments. Their own existence is so vile to them now that they would do anything to escape it, but they can't.
And you expect us to go down there? I mean, I'm sure you have the strength and stamina to endure it. You're a high priestess, for God's sake, but it's too much for me already. And we haven't even entered yet.
No, you must not tell yourself that. You have to be strong. Our journey is far too important for you to give up before we even breach the entrance.
I'm sorry, this is too much. You're just gonna have to find somebody else.
No, Danny. You can't quit before we begin. Others are depending on us. We have to understand what we and the rest of the world face. You have to be strong. Take my hand. Trust me. You must find your inner strength.
All right. If you say so. I just hope you know what you're doing.
Yes, Danny, I do. Come now, we've already tasted too much time. Let us enter hell. Have no fear, for I am with you.
I see these souls, but I hear the screams of many, many others. Where does it come from?
From further deep, within the bowels of hell. This is just the entrance. We still have not met Sharon, who carries the dead across the river Akron into hell proper. Then, our journey will begin in earnest.
You human souls, you are forever doomed! Heaven is beyond your hope. I come to take you to the other shore, to fire, and I send everlasting night! You will follow me to my boat that awaits you. Wait, what's this? Authentica, and a living human soul? This cannot be. Get out! You must leave here immediately. This is the kingdom of the dead and the damned! You cannot cross Acheron from here. Find another way, another port, you hear me? Another boat might ferry you, but not mine.
Sharon, be still. We will hear no more from you. This is ruled by Electronicus and myself, and what we will must be. Don't interfere and do as I tell you. You will ferry us across the river Acheron, and you will ask no questions. Do this now, or suffer the wrath of Authentica and Electronicus.
If you and Electronicus decree it, then so it shall be. Follow me then, and these dead dogs! I take no responsibility for what fates await you where you now travel.
What just happened? What was she just doing to them?
Sharon ferries all sinners across the river Acheron into hell proper. She is the first taste of the punishments that await them. When they arrive below in hell, they will be met by Minos, the demon whose responsibility it is to separate them according to their sins and to send them to the levels of hell to which they belong.
And you expect us to go down there? With that group? Are you serious?
Yes, Denny, we must. It's the only way.
All right. Abandon all hope, ye who enter here. It's not that I don't trust you. It seems like we're gonna be in way over our heads down there.
You have to trust me, Danny. I know what I'm doing. Have faith.
I do have faith. This just sure is pegging my weird stuff-o-meter. Pardon my French. This isn't so bad. Where are we? Is this really hell?
Yes, Danny, this is the first circle of hell, Limbo. It is far different here from what we will see later. It's partly populated by those born before 1900, when life was simpler and a time before technology came to be so prevalent in everyone's lives. Limbo is a place for free floaters who are off the grid, those who haven't been influenced or corrupted, as I like to think of it, by technology. Those who choose not to use technology because they didn't grow up with it, or they reject it for their own personal or political reasons.
You know, they used to say knowledge is power, but now it seems like they use technology to gain knowledge and power, or they use knowledge and power to make themselves seem better than everyone else, to give their lives meaning, you know?
Yes, exactly. Technology, thanks to electronicus, keeps on advancing and corrupting more and more people, especially those who do not use it wisely or carefully, and those who allow it to lead them into the temptations of sin. Access is everything. It's so easy to sin when it's all around you.
But is that all there is? Is our new reverence for technology all bad?
Of course not, Danny. You yourself talked about some of the advantages to technology when we first met yesterday. There is much good to be derived from technology, but people have to control it, not let it control them. Here, let us talk to some of these good people who reside in Limbo. I see some of those who lived before technology came to be so prevalent in society. We can ask them what they think about it. Excuse me, my friends. Could we disturb you for just a few moments? We would like to speak with you, if you don't mind.
Ja, why of course. My name is Johannes Gutenberg, formerly of Strasbourg, Germany. And this is Madame Marie Curie, formerly of Paris, France. And this is Mr. Thomas Alva Edison, whom they still call in your world today the Wizard of Menlo Park, New Jersey.
And I believe you are Authentica, the High Priestess. Who might this young man be?
This is Danny, a resident of contemporary Earth. Electronicus has granted us permission to visit Hell for a day, to view for ourselves his work down here.
How unusual. And what is it you wish to speak with us about?
Well, when we look at the world today, it is filled with technology. And there are those who seem to use it wisely and to great benefit. And there are those who use it less wisely and who seem to suffer from it, also causing great problems in the world. We were just curious what you three think of all this.
Yes, especially since all three of you made such huge contributions to the birth of technology that we all know today. But it seems like technology was less prevalent when you were alive, and it was overall much simpler too.
Well, I would say that is definitely true. Life in our times were much simpler. When I look on Earth today and I see all of the political and economic strife, the pollution and environmental problems, and just the way that people treat each other, I am greatly saddened. Although this is not to say these problems did not exist in our times, but they do seem to be magnified today in many ways.
I agree, Thomas. As they say in France, plus ça change, plus c'est la même chose.
Yes, the more things change, the more they stay the same. And this is true. Very true.
And as our new friend Danny has also pointed out, we three certainly were fortunate to make some contributions in terms of our endeavors. But I don't think any of us ever imagined just how far our discoveries and creations would take the world. My research focused at first on physics and chemistry, and they say that the work my husband and I did on radium and radioactivity changed the world, leading eventually to the discovery of nuclear power.
Ach, Fräulein, you are far too modest. you won Nobel Peace Prize, not just in chemistry, but also in physics. And you discovered two elements, polonium and radium, and you coined the word radioactivity. And you did this at a time when women had virtually no voice anywhere in the world. But you preserved and forced the male scientific world to recognize you and your magnificent work.
Herr Gutenberg, you are too kind. I am honored that our work is so recognized in today's world. But it is also somewhat bittersweet that while nuclear power has provided many benefits, it has also created some very dangerous hazards, especially in the hands of those who would do evil with it.
Yes, but this is true for all of our inventions. In our own ways, we were all at the very beginnings of the technological advances we see used and, in many cases, abused today. Johann invented the movable type printing press. He is the father of print mass communication, and the continuation of his work would eventually lead us to the realm of electronic mass communication that is known today.
Herr Gutenberg's invention brought about not just books, but also newspapers and pamphlets, and they gave those in the lower economic classes the ability to learn to read and write and to understand what was going on in the world around them. It gave a voice to those who were not part of the aristocracy, the elite, or the religious and political leaders.
That's true. Back then, only the most rich and powerful could afford books. Monks sat in monasteries, copying them word by word, page by page. If you had a book back then, that was really something.
Thank you all for your kind words, my friends. But we must not forget either the magnificent gifts that Thomas brought to the world. Why, you invented the phonograph, did significant work with the telegraph, telephone, and light bulb, not to mention electricity. And you invented the motion picture camera, to name but just a few things you accomplished.
Yes, it seems that without the concept of the phonograph, the young ones on Earth today would not have their iPods or MP3s. And without electricity and telephones, they would not have their beloved cell phones and the ability to text one another continually.
Yes, today's youth does seem particularly attached to their electronics. They can't seem to live without them.
Yeah, I would like to know what our friend Sigmund Freud would think of this fixation that youth on Earth today seem to have with their electronic devices.
It is fascinating to me. It seems that they fear they will cease to exist if they are not somehow connected to one another electronically.
Yeah, it is as if their devices are umbilical cords, connecting them to one another and the world around them.
Do any of you think your works are being misused today? Are you sorry for giving us what you did?
Speaking for myself, some things concern me, of course, but I will never be sorry for bringing print to the masses. The good it seems to have done far outweighs the bad.
I agree, Johann. As I said before, there has been so much good that nuclear power has provided, in medicine especially. But I am somewhat concerned over nuclear accidents taking place, or, as I said, people with evil intent using it. But, yeah, we have to rely on the inherent goodness of people, and that good will always triumph over evil. In the long term, anyway.
Absolutely. There will always be those who seek to take advantage of other people, who look out for only themselves, they wish to take advantage of the situations that come their way. It has been this way throughout all of human history, unfortunately, but there will also always be those who seek to do good, who continue to bring wonderful new creations into the world, or continue to develop the ideas brought forth by others.
Yeah, we see continued hope for humanity, but we do not ignore the problems we also see. It is beyond our kin to do anything now anyway. Our time is past. We have no power to interfere with the affairs of those on Earth, even if we wanted to. All we can do is watch as the world evolves around us and hope for the best for all of humanity.
Well spoken, Herr Gutenberg. Madam Curie, Mr. Edison. My friends, we have taken enough of your time. We must be moving on. Thank you for visiting with us and sharing your perspectives on the world today.
Yes, it was an honor and a pleasure. I never imagined I'd meet any of you.
The pleasure was ours.
Safe journeys to you both. Goodbye.
Oh, good luck. And Godspeed.
Where should we put you? Greed, perhaps? No. I know. Take your place! And you? Where should we put you? Envy, maybe? No. I know where to put you. Go on, pretty! Living souls! You dare to trespass here where those still breathing are not allowed! Beware of entering this realm of pain, and beware of this one human in whom you have placed your trust. Authentica! What game is this you play? You and this one do not belong here!
Quiet, Minos! Stop your shouting and posturing, and don't try to stop the destined journey of this man. For it is willed by Electronicus and myself that he and I ventured through hell, and there is nothing you can do to stop us. Stand aside and go about your business.
As soon Electronicus commanded. Which? So shall it be. Move, slugs! The stench of living flesh in this goblin nauseates me.
Now that almost makes the torture of living here for all eternity worth it. Never thought I'd see anyone but Electronicus give that big broad before. Well done, Authentica. Well done.
Who or what was that?
May I? That was Minos, one of Electronicus's demons. It is her job to stand guard of the stubble, as Sharn buries the newly damned souls to her. She sorts them out.
Down here with Electronicus' knowledge and permission. Now, tell him the rest of it, Envy.
Yes, well, there might be a little more to it at that. You see, not only did I want what others had, I wanted it so bad, I would do anything to get it. Ruin them, kill them, ruin myself, my family, my loved ones. It didn't matter. Had to have it. If I couldn't get it, I was miserable. I just fixated on it. I obsessed over it. Whatever it was, I could have never done it. Oh, come on!
I see. Well, that certainly does make a difference.
Keep going, Envy. Don't stop now.
Okay. It's just such a delicious and devious sin, you know? It's not just a matter of wanting something someone else has. Like a
a better job, or a more expensive car, or a hotter pair of shoes.
Envy. I mean, who doesn't want to make things better for themselves? We all want things that we don't have, but to want it beyond all human comprehension to the point of complete, total obsession. Now that's truly an art.
Okay, that's pretty intense.
And the true beauty is, no one ever admits it to anyone else. We don't go on talking about the things we covet to others. We keep it to ourselves, our own dark, dirty little secret. We grow our desires. We nurture them. We immerse ourselves in them. To the exclusion of all else.
Well, that doesn't sound particularly healthy.
Well, of course not. It's a sin. Remember, silly? It's not supposed to be healthy.
Well, Envy, what did you and others like you do on Earth to be placed here in hell?
Well, what do you think envy is? And I bet it's a lot more than you ever dreamed of, too. First of all, there's the obvious stuff everyone always considers. Of course, it's all about wanting things that don't belong to you, or that you can never have. In all kinds of ages, too. I wanted anything that anyone else had. Remember when you were a little kid and some other brat down the block had a new bike or a toy that was better than what you had, and you just really wanted that thing? It was all you could think about. What'd you do? Did you steal it, maybe? Did you break his neck and play with the hammer? No. Of course you didn't. But I sure as hell did. And I'm the one who killed some kid for his Air Jordans in junior high and her Raiders jacket in high school. I'm the one who spread all kinds of vicious rumors and lies about my opponent for prom queen so that I won. And I'm the one who cheated on tests and plagiarized papers so I got grades good as everyone else's. Oops. And I'm the one who had to upgrade to the latest cell phone or video game system, no matter what. Once I grew up, became an adult, I'm the one who wanted someone else's husband or wife and did whatever it took to get them. To make sure they didn't last together. That whole Ashley Madison thing, that was me! And I'm the one who wanted someone else's job or accounts or promotions and did whatever it took to get them. It wasn't fair for everyone else to have those things. I should have them too, or no one should have them!
And you enjoyed it all, I'm sure. How disgusting. You deserve everything that you get down here.
And it's a whole new game today, thanks to Electronicus and all his marvelous toys. People can find things to covet in ways undreamed of 50 years ago. The internet and social media are a virtual sinkhole for people to immerse themselves in forever. Just coveting their little brains and hearts out.
Well, what do you mean by that?
All right, here's what I'm talking about. Used to be, to find things you wanted or couldn't live without, you had to go somewhere, meet people, interact with them that way, face to face. Go to the store, do your shopping, all that stuff, you know? You were just finding things to covet in your neighborhood, at the mall, at church, all the places you went. But now, Instagram, the internet and social media put all those nice things right in our laps. At home, at the office, in your car, wherever you happen to be.
Oh Lord, I see where this is going.
Now, Facebook and Instagram show you all those nice things that your neighbors, friends, and coworkers have that you don't. Those great vacations they take,
that you can't afford, those promotions and raises they get, that you get passed over for, that trophy wife or husband they have, that you don't, that great car they have, and you're stuck with the minivan you're driving. It's all right there in your face. They're bragging to you. They're holding it over your head. You can't ignore it!
So Envy, how are you punished down here?
We are fated to spend all eternity unable to obtain that which we sought or coveted. We can still see and sense that which we want all around us, but it is impossible for us to have. We cannot get it. We all have our cell phones and tablets and Kindles, all that stuff. No. It doesn't work. See? No signal! Nothing! Down here, we're always roaming. We still want it all down to the very bottoms of our souls, just as we did on Earth. But here, we're unable to find, let alone possess, that which we wanted for all eternity.
See how their vision, their hopes and dreams are impaired in some way or another, Danny? They know that what they want is somewhere around them, but they can't get to it. They can sense it, feel it in their presence, but they're blocked from it forever.
That seems like a very appropriate punishment. I mean, they coveted so much on Earth, but now they're unable to ever have it.
You're every bit as kind as your mistress, boy. You've learned your lessons from her well.
Danny, is there anything else you would like to ask Envy? Have you learned all you need to learn here?
I think so. We should be going now.
Then we shall take our leave of you, Envy. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome, I suppose. As if I had any say in the matter.
Well, thank you anyways. Goodbye. Let us be on our way, Dan.
Goodbye, Envy.
You tricked me. You. Hurry it up. We don't have all eternity.
Oh, wait. Move faster. Come on. Work harder.
Now, this is more of what I imagined. It seems like these sinners are being physically punished for what they must have done on Earth. What level are we on again?
This is the third level, the home of those who committed the sin of sloth on earth. As you can see, they are now fated to be in constant motion in payment for their laziness. On earth, they were the ones who didn't accomplish much, the ones who did nothing while others suffered, or the ones who didn't take care of what they should have. There are many ways that these sinners demonstrated their sloth. Now, they no longer have that luxury.
I see the one pushing that rock up and down the incline like a Sisyphus. And the others seem to be in a constant state of motion as well. Can we go talk to them?
Yes, we can. Follow me. Excuse me, Sloth. We would have a few words with you.
Avenica, what are you doing down here? What do you want? I'm a little busy right now. And who's your little lapdog there?
Sloth, this is Danny. He is from Earth, and he and I are tasked with investigating the state of hell today. We want to talk to you.
Yeah, I got the memo. It's not like I can stop for a smoke and a cup of coffee. Ask away! You're gonna follow me while I do my thing here.
Where would you begin, Danny? What do you want to ask Sloth?
Well, I'd like to know what Sloth must have done on Earth to be placed here in hell.
Nothing really. Took care of my family.
Sloth, the whole truth.
Okay. I I was an executive. Middle management kind of stuff, you know? And the only thing I'm guilty of is providing for my family. I did whatever it took. Overtime, working evenings, weekends, bringing work home, chasing down leads. There was a lot to do. I had to provide for my family. Feed them, pay doctor's bills, keep roof over their heads, that sort of stuff.
Sloth.
All right. Maybe I did focus on work a little bit more than my family. But hell, family was my wife's job. I could never do anything right at home anyway. No one appreciated me. So what if I missed a few meals and holidays? Those kids didn't need me to blow out their candles on their birthday cakes, did they?
So you see, Danny, sloth is not just a matter of being lazy or sitting around doing nothing. It's also a matter of not seeing to all of your obligations and responsibilities. Our friend Sloth here did work hard at the office, but he did not work hard at his most important jobs, being a husband and a father.
Whatever, Authentica. You try dealing with those brats and their mother.
I see. So, ignoring all your responsibilities or being neglectful to some of them are still forms of sloth. I never thought of it that way before.
Just eats out of your hand, doesn't he, Authentica? Weren't you listening to a word I said, kid? I don't belong down here. All I did was provide for my family. That's a hell of a lot more than most people do.
I'm sorry, Sloth, but I'm not buying it. You definitely deserve to be down here. There has to be other forms of sloth in the world, Authentica. Can you tell me more?
Yes, Danny, to be honest with you, the frantic pace, the endless interruptions, and the many distractions caused by the devices and electronic toys people play with today definitely hyperstimulate users, leading them to other forms of sloth. From the time we wake up to the time we close our eyes, we are constantly bombarded by images, noise, and information.
I can definitely see how technology can lead people into older forms of sloth and distracting them from their responsibilities.
Oh, boo-hoo-hoo. As if we have to constantly keep our noses to the grindstone. That's what the two of you were just bitching at me about. Make up your minds. You can't have it both ways.
Hush, Sloth. You, above all others, know what we mean. What were you saying, Danny?
Well, I can definitely see how sloth can go hand in hand with technology today. I mean, I can sit at my computer and open my email, reading, filing, deleting, but when it's all said and done, have I really accomplished anything?
Blah, blah, blah. So what? You want to go back to no emails, no internet, no electronic devices?
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. What I am saying is the dog has to wag the tail, not the other way around. We have to control technology, not like technology control us. I mean, I can see how people can think they're getting things done when they really aren't. I mean, they can sit around texting, checking notifications, playing video games, watching Netflix, but they're feeling like they're getting something done when they're really not getting anything done at all.
What's the problem with that? Sounds like a pretty sweet gig to me.
That's enough out of you, Sloth. Be silent unless you have something useful to say.
I do. But you'd never listen to me anyway, so what's the point?
It's fine, Authentica. Let's let him speak. Sloth, you were saying?
Sloth isn't a sin. It's a human condition, as Danny's already pointed out. It's in our nature to pick the path of least resistance, choose our battles, make the most out of the least. It's in our DNA. It's how we're wired.
You've got to be kidding me. Are you serious?
Of course! And with technology, it just keeps getting easier and easier. Let the machines do all the work. After all, we are making them smarter and smarter. Now there are factories full of robots doing what people used to do. No one talks face to face anymore. Everyone Skypes, texts, instant messages, has virtual conferences.
Oh, go on. Is there more to this fairy tale that you're weaving?
Sloth isn't a sin. It's a sickness, an illness. These people, they're not slackers or lazy. They're suffering from depression, from mental and physical illnesses.
Sloth.
They don't need punished. They need medical assistance.
Sloth, you amaze me. Yes, you do need help. In fact, you need a lot of help. And you're getting it now, pushing that rock all over this level of hell. Come on, Danny. We've spent enough time here. We need to move on to the next level.
Oh, I wouldn't want to waste any more of your time. You'll excuse me if I don't accompany you out.
Not at all. We can make our own way.
Who dare approach me who comes before their appointed hour?
How does she do that, Authentica? How does she walk across the water like Jesus?
Don't be alarmed, Danny. Different beings have different powers down here. That's just one of hers. In order to get to the next level of hell, we need to cross the river Styx, and Phlegyas will ferry us across.
Go back! Neither of you belong here. Leave this place immediately or suffer my wrath!
Phlegyas, stop right now! You may have frightened this young man out of his wits, but you will find me a much more formidable foe.
Authentica. I should have known. What are you doing here? What game are you playing at now?
That is not your concern, Phlegyas. You only need to know that I'm here on behalf of Electronicus. Now, you will ferry my companion and I across Styx, and you will leave us to our mission.
I'll certainly not waste any effort worrying about you two. Let's load him in the ferry then. And be off with you both!
What just happened? Where are we? Are we safe?
Yes, Danny, we're fine. You just fainted, passed out is all. Lygus is gone. We're at the 4th circle of hell.
I was getting ready to defend us, and then I just blacked out. She must have gotten a lucky shot with that pole or something.
Yes, that's exactly what must have happened.
Well, back to business then. Where are we?
This is where those who suffered from the sin of pride reside.
What are they doing to them?
Well, as you can see, these sinners are surrounded by demons who torment them using mirrors. But the sinners cannot see into these mirrors unless they have been somehow marred or scarred by their tormentors. They are doomed to spend all eternity never being able to see themselves unless they have been scarred.
Holy crap! Pardon my French, is just way intense, you know? When I think of people associated with the sin, I think of people who are incredibly vain. Those who put all their stock into their appearance, you know?
That's true. There's Pride. Let's talk to her and see what she has to say for herself.
Okay, I'm game.
Pride, come hither. We wish to speak with you.
Oh, Authentica, you will of course forgive my appearance. As you can see, I'm just not quite myself today. Hello, Danny. My name's Pride. So pleased to meet you. Oh, Authentica, he is just adorable. So cute, so frightened, but trying to act so brave.
I take it that you've heard of our mission then?
No, yes, word is filtering down, you know, the grapevine.
Yes, I do. Do you mind talking to us for a bit?
Why, of course not. Anything to break up the monotony of my days and the ceaseless tormenting of these demons. And besides, this one's such a cutie. Why, I'd do anything to spend some time with him. I wish you'd seen me in my prime, Danny. You wouldn't have been able to take your eyes off me.
I'm sure I wouldn't have. May I ask you, Pride, what you must have done on Earth to be placed here?
Oh, why, Danny, love, it's just terrible what I've been accused of. As you can imagine, I didn't do a thing. I just tried to take care of myself. You can't blame a girl for that, now can you?
Pride?
What do you mean by that?
Just that my only sin was caring about my appearance. Now that isn't so bad, now is it?
Well, I guess it depends on how you went about doing that.
Nothing much, just a lift here, a tug there. Some work here, some work there, just the usual. Say, you wouldn't happen to have your cell phone on you, would you? I would just love to take a selfie with you. You know, see how good we look together.
No. In fact, I don't think I would even get service down here. You were saying, Pride.
Well, never mind. I don't know, some designer clothes maybe, and some accessories, you know, hats, purses, those sorts of things, and some jewelry.
And?
Nothing much, just a little makeup and half my hair and nails done. Oh, and pedicures, of course.
Oh no, that's not much at all.
Authentica, you're just jealous of what I was.
I hardly
think so.
Do you begin to see a pattern developing down here, Danny?
Yeah, I do. There's more to pride than just appearance. Pride goes back a long way. Some say it's the root of all sin.
Ironic, isn't it? So many think of the sin of pride as being about those who are self-centered, boastful, and arrogant. But it's also more than that. It's also all about wanting the approval of others so much that you come to hate them, whether they give you that approval or not.
Oh, don't be silly. You're making a mountain out of a molehill. You're the one who's guilty of the sin of pride, judging me and anyone else down here. You think you're so much better than the rest of us. You better watch yourself around her, Danny. She's selling us all a bill of goods. I just happen to have some self-respect. That's all. I care about myself and my appearance and what others think about me, just like everyone else. We all need to feel good about ourselves. We all need self-affirmation. We all need our own little soccer trophies, am I right?
No, Pride, there's a big difference between what you're talking about and what we're talking about. We're talking about having a healthy self-image. You're talking about thinking you're better than everyone else and holding it over their heads as well.
Yes, you're talking about ego-tripping, Pride. You're talking about narcissism and its absolute worst. And we haven't even begun to talk about what modern technology has done for you and your kind.
Oh, come now. What are you prattling on on about now?
Oh.
What does electronicus do with anything we've talked about here?
Oh, I don't know, just a million ways to show yourself and your possessions off through social media. A million ways to pretend like you're better than everyone else.
Not to mention Botox and body modifications and plastic surgeries like nose jobs, breast implants, tummy tucks, butt lifts. All the ways that medical technology lets you change yourself for the better.
I don't know what you're talking about. None of those things have anything to do with little old me. I think you've worn out your welcome here. It's time for you to go.
I see. Can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen, huh? We also haven't even begun to talk about all the things like the athletes and celebrities who think that they're above the law and that they can do anything they want. Beat their partners or spouses, rape anyone they want to, drink and drive, whatever you can think of.
Whatevs, Authentica. I'm done with this interview. Your close-up is over.
All right. Danny, let's go. Goodbye, Fred. Those who suffered from the sin of greed stay here.
Given what goes on in the world today, this level must be packed.
Yes, unfortunately it is. All these sinners have lost their worldly possessions. They don't have anything now. Electronicus has fated them to quarrel over the few paltry items that lie within their grasp, but they're still not allowed to possess anything. Plutus and his demons prevent them from keeping anything down here.
Plutus?
Yes, that's the demon over there who looks like the cheap version of Donald Trump. He's in charge on this level.
Well, we might as well go and talk to these poor souls.
They hardly deserve your pity, Danny. These perhaps more than any down here.
I know. It was more of an expression than anything else. Recently on Earth, the greedy they've run amok, destroying the lives of those with little or nothing. I'm sure they get everything they deserve down here. And more.
You feel particularly strong about this, then, Danny. Let us see what those in this level have to say for themselves, then. Plutus, how fare you in your charges today?
Fenica. I was wondering if the rumors are true that you'd show up down here. Electronicus has given you and your charge permission to visit us. How amusing. Now you can see how a real pro works instead of those amateurs you've seen thus far.
I see that you haven't changed at all, Plutus. Still as humble as ever.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know, he's just a bundle of laughs. Hey! The tip your waitresses, huh, folks? You know, we're gonna be here all week. Huh? All right, well, don't forget to try the salmon, huh? But I'm done.
You must be greed. What do you think of your current situation? Was your sitting worth it?
Oh, Lord. And just another judgmental do-gooder, I'm sure. Oh, man, he's just like Yaney Authentica. Well, it is what it is, boy. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. I'm sure everybody else has told you all about how they really shouldn't be down here. You know, they didn't do nothing wrong and all that ignorant bullshit. Oh, well, hell yeah, I'm guilty of greed. I was one greedy-ass mother scratcher back there on Earth. You know what? I still am today. I just can't really do anything about it. Was it worth it? Oh, hell yeah, you know, it was worth it. Does it suck now? Hell yeah, it sucks now. But like I said, there just ain't nothing I can do about it.
Refreshingly honest, isn't he?
I guess you could say that.
It's almost a pleasure working with him. I know he'll make it up to middle management. Someday. Can't let all that vitriol and attitude go to waste, now can we?
Whatever. How about you blow it out your ass, eh, Plutus?
See, you're just gonna love that.
Oh, all right. Sorry to interrupt your little group hug moment there, but our time is limited here. Can we get down to business before the two of you Kumbaya?
Hardcore, Authentica. What do you want?
Well, I'd like to know what Green must have done on Earth to be placed on this level of hell.
Oh, really? You sure you can handle that, kid? You know, I ain't gonna be sugarcoating nothing for you.
Yeah, I can handle it. Bring it on.
Oh, this should be good. All right, well, you asked for it. See, back on Earth, I was a big shot. You know, a major corporate executive, the leader of men and women. Captain of my ship. I cut the big deals, damn the details, oh, who suffered from them? I bought up companies, fired and laid off workers, killed unions, cut benefits, cut salaries, anything I needed to do to make the bottom line work. That's what I did. Environmental impacts? Who gives a rat's ass? People losing their homes, or their pensions. Who gives a rat's ass? See, I wanted wealth. I wanted power! And I got it! No matter who had to pay the price, just so long as it wasn't me.
And I'm sure there was some sloth in there too, wasn't there? Not to mention pride and envy.
Those amateurs! Sloth thinks he ignored his family. Mine never saw me. Oh, but they got taken care of. They ain't got nothing to bitch about. The pride. Oh, yeah, sure, I suppose. I was proud. How could I not be? I still am, for that matter. And the envy. Oh, yeah, I suppose, maybe a little bit. But you see, the difference was that if I wanted something, I went out and I took it. And I'm sure you haven't talked yet with lust, gluttony, or wrath either, have you? Well, believe me, I got them covered too. Especially lust. Oh, man. I love that little bitch. And she loves me.
You're not very repentant, are you?
Oh, well, hell no! I worked really hard to earn what I did. I took a whole lot of people down to get what I got. You know what they say. The one who dies with the most toys wins.
And that's not the only way that greed shows its ugly head in the world today either.
That's true. It's not just the execs and the CEOs. It's not just the big businesses in Wall Street. It's everyday people too. Greed is becoming more and more part of our culture.
Richard, kid. Not sure anyone else down here is very interested in your sermon.
Yeah, whatever, kid. You know, you are really just breaking my heart. Hey, tell me, is American Pickers still on up there? Well, what about Hornets? Yeah, you know, they were all amateurs, but they did crack me up. Houses and barns packed to the gills. Those were some greedy mother scratchers. Or that Pawn Stars show. Yeah, don't tell me those dudes won't end up down here too. They got greed written all over them. They screw their own grandmothers out of a deal.
Yes, they're still on and still highly viewed too. I don't know which is worse when it comes to hoarders. The fact that people are so driven to live that way, or the fact that people enjoy watching them wallow in their misery so much.
That's true. Greed drives some people to some pretty strange ways nowadays. There used to be things like Black Friday. Now there's Black Thursday and Friday. And lawyers on TV encouraging people to have frivolous lawsuits for things they wouldn't have thought of otherwise.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know, some of my favorite creeps down here are the lawyers. Man, those lunatics really know how to bring it.
Don't you understand, though? There are millions of people out there who live on almost nothing. There are millions who struggle to make it from paycheck to paycheck, or who just don't make it. And your precious banks and corporations take their homes from them every day. What about them?
Really? Really? You're asking me that? You think I care? That's not my problem, little lady. That's your problem. You can worry about that if you want to, but I got better things to do.
Oh, yeah? Like fighting over a broken Rolex down here with the rest of these sinners?
Hey, that was a good one. Not bad.
No. He just got lucky.
Can we get back on point here again, please? What about advertising and media? People are bombarded every day with ads telling them all about the things that they need to make them happy. Luxurious cars, fine perfumes, best liquors. You can't look anywhere without being told that there's something terribly expensive we must have to make our lives better, whether we need it or not.
That's true. Just look at Facebook. It says it wants us to connect us to one each other when all it really wants is our personal information. It says it wants us to show ourselves to the world, where it's selling us out to a dozen ad agencies and marketing firms.
And that's another insidious way that greed works. These social media giants are using our own greed for others' attention and approval against us. We'll do anything to get ourselves out there, including selling our identities and personal information to the big corporations.
I had no idea you were so smart. Learn something new every day.
Oh, what can I say? It's a talent. Wealth, power, material stuff, information, the best, the newest, the fastest, the hottest, the most luxurious. I wanted it. I got it.
I'll put up with a whole lot down here, but I won't put up with this. Are we done here, Danny?
Yeah, I think so. We're getting pretty deep anyway. Only 2 more levels of sinners left.
Whatever. Hasta la vista, babies.
Oh my. I think I know where we are. This has to be the level of sin for the sin of lust.
Yes, Danny, it is, but with a twist. The sinners on this level are surrounded by others engaging in lustful acts, but they themselves are denied the ability to engage in them by Guri in there, the one in the dominatrix outfit. In fact, these sinners must behave very chastely, whether they like it or not, and believe me, they don't like it.
Well, you have to hand it to Electronicus. He sure does know his business. And his clients. Dear Lord, Authentic, it's so hot down here. How do they stand it?
The heat is part of the punishment. These sinners are continually steeped in the heat of their former passions. They are literally baked in their lust.
Well, we might as well go and talk to these poor sinners. I know. I'm sure they get everything they deserve down here. And more. You know, I'm starting to think about all that we've seen today. We've talked to all these sinners, and it seems like sin is a very natural part of our life. And can be good for us to some extent. I mean, there's nothing wrong with sitting down and doing nothing every once in a while. There's nothing wrong with taking pride in one's appearance, you know?
That's true, Danny. Or even being a little envious of someone else, or wanting something more, like a better car or house. Just a little push to give themselves something to strive for.
It's just when you let that become all-consuming, that's when it becomes a problem. I mean, I like sex. Under the right circumstances, of course.
It's okay, Danny. You can say that. It's perfectly natural. Under the right circumstances, as you say.
It's just when it becomes all-consuming, that's when it becomes a problem. If people just thought about themselves, thought about others, they realize it wouldn't have to be this way.
That's true, Danny, but it's difficult for some people. They just don't have the discipline to control themselves, or they're led down the wrong path by others.
Or they just don't think about the consequences to their actions.
Well. Look who it is. Authentica. And you must be Danny. We were wondering when we'd have the pleasure of your company on our little level.
Look at him. Isn't he just a yummy little treat? And don't think I've forgotten about you, Authentica. I'd eat you up any day.
Lust, back up. You know the rules. No fun for you ever. All you get to do is look. And you're lucky I'm even letting you do that. Like,
Stop! Don't do that! You hurt her!
Danny, remember what we talked about?
I know, but to hit her like that, it's not right.
Danny, you don't understand. We'll have to teach you all about the pleasure of pain, the joy of the lash.
This is the most intense level yet. It's sheer unbridled depravity. It's mind-numbing.
You have to be strong, Danny. I warned you that you'd see things that would be terrifying. I'm here with you. Draw your strength from me if you need to.
oh, Danny boy, you haven't seen anything yet. Let me tell you, the fun's just starting.
Yeah, of all the sins, mine's the best, by far. Nobody gets it like I do. And it just keeps getting better and better. Thanks to our buddy Electronicus. The old days were great. Stag movies, dirty magazines, Tijuana Bibles. But now, thanks to there's internet, porn, sexting, the sex trade, you name it. It's the greatest.
And lust is more than just sexual cravings. It also ties into pride and greed and even wrath, especially when lust devolves into violence. It's all about self-gratification, so it's an especially malevolent sin.
That's true. Sex is like salt. It's sprinkled on everything. And when advertisers discovered that sex sells, they went crazy. But now it's everywhere. There's butts and bodies on TV, even on network shows.
What are you bitching about? Those are just some damn good directorial choices. And don't let those Victorians fool you. There was a whole hell of a lot of hanky-panky going on behind the scenes then.
Yeah, what's the matter? You afraid of a little nudity or something? It's just natural beauty.
No, we're not. And sometimes nudity in art is a good choice, but most of the time it's gratuitous and unnecessary, not to mention exploitative.
You two are just prudes. You can't handle the idea of a little tasteful nudity every now and then. Or the idea of people getting busy with each other. It's what people do. It's what we want.
No, we're not prudes, but we're better than you and others like you. We just want the right not to have sex thrown in our faces 24/7. There's other things you can use to sell products and TV shows and movies. There's other things to write for plots.
In some ways, lust is almost like a drug. Engage in it, and maybe for that brief time you forget about whatever else might be bothering you. But it doesn't make anything go away. It's not a cure for anything. It probably just leads to more problems for you anyways. The hangover when it's gone is overwhelming.
God, you are depressing. Do you always go on like this? Way to harsh my buzz.
Yeah, damn woman. You need to head on down the road. You and your little dog, Toto, too. You're bringing us all down.
Maybe they're right, Authentica. I don't think we can get much more of this level anyway. We should get going.
You're right, Danny. Let's go. Thank you, Garion and Lust.
Don't mention it. You know where we are now. Stop by sometime for a quickie, or stay a little longer for a full service lube job.
No thanks. We'll be moving on.
Suit yourself. Y'all come back and see us. Now, here. Now, get up, you worthless ass, before I give you a beat down. We've
got work to do. Promises, promises. I can't wait.
We're down to gluttony and wrath now. Let me guess. This is the loaf for the sin of gluttony. Am I right?
Yes, it is.
Let me guess. They're surrounded by food and drink and other things they must have overindulged in on Earth, but they can't have any of it.
That's right. They are actually repulsed by the food and drink once they approach it and try to gorge themselves. Or they find that the food and drink are rancid and rotten, so they can't be eaten or drank. And they're surrounded by other things they try to gorge themselves on with the same sort of effects. That's gluttony over there.
Well, our time here must be getting short, and we have to be getting towards the end of our journey. I'm ready to go home. This has been a lot to take in.
Yes, it has, but you've done an excellent job, Danny. I told you you were up to this. Dante was proud of you.
Well, thank you for your kind words, but we still have Wrath to go, not to mention Electronicus himself. That should be a real joy.
It'll be okay, Danny. We're almost through.
Well, there's Gluttony now. Let's go talk to her. Hello? Gluttony, can we talk to you for a few minutes?
I suppose. You don't happen to have a Big Mac or a Whopper on you that aren't rotten to the core, do you? How about a Big Loaf? That isn't a big... Puke. A girl can get pretty hungry and thirsty down here.
No, we don't, and I'm sure even if we did, Electronicus wouldn't let you out.
I know. That sumbitch sure likes to stick it in and break it off. No, wait. That's Gary and lust. Always the jokester, huh, Gluttony? You know what, Toots? That's me. John Candy, Chris Farley, Belushi, and the king himself, Elvis. Sex, drugs, rock and roll. We all know how to get down, get funky, get back up again. I'm sure that you all do. Or did. Doesn't look like you're having such a great time now. Well, like Greed always says, don't do the crime if you can't do the time. It is what it is, you know?
You certainly revel in your sins, don't you?
Of course I do. I'm Gluttony. I want it all. Just like Greed, but in my own way. He wants to possess it. I want to consume it. Whatever it is. On Earth, it was food, drink, fossil fuels, drugs, alcohol, trees. Here, it's my punishment. I'll drink that in too. I'll consume it. I'll revel in it. I'll wallow in it. It's mine. You see, Danny, the sin in gluttony is consuming so much that it becomes wasteful or harmful. America is probably the center point of this sin in today's world. I'm not sure any other country overconsumes to the point that they do.
And that goes right in hand with our overindulgence in technology today. Gluttony's like being addicted to something. You just can't have enough of it. Just like our overuse of cell phones and texting and social media and playing video games.
What are you two complaining about? It's all just a product of prosperity. Things are bigger and better. You have king-size candy bars, party-sized bags of chips, even if they're just for a party of one. Me. And normal portion sizes at restaurants are a thing of the past. You always have plenty to take home in a dodgy bag, but no one ever does. They just oink out right there at the restaurant. It's paradise.
And what about the human toll all this is taking, Gluttony? Obesity, diabetes, heart, blood high blood pressure, heart disease. People are killing themselves with a fork and knife every day. Don't you see that? They're taking their own graves with spoons.
Oh, I like that. Couldn't have said it any better myself.
Oh, Gluttony, you go too far. Don't you dare mock me.
Fiery little thing, isn't she?
You better watch yourself, Gluttony. Do not forget she is a high priestess and has mighty powers. Just because you're down here does not mean you are safe from them.
It's okay, Danny. I just let her get to me for a minute. You're very clever, Gluttony, but not as clever as you think. Whatever. All I know is I had you going. That's good enough for me. I win! Oh yes, you sure showed me. How will I ever recover? You know, for an old broad with a stick up her ass, you sure got a sense of humor rolling around in that big old head of yours.
Hey!
It's okay, Danny. Let's just say that it's friendly banter between two old pros. There's much more that we could talk about with Gluttony, but the day grows short and we still have to visit the level of hell that Wrath exists on and visit with Electronicus. We should be moving on.
It's fine. I've had enough of this level anyway.
Ooh, scary.
Do Authentica. It's actually been somewhat of a pleasure seeing you again. So long, Danny. How about a couple Whoppers and a 12-pack for me sometime?
God, you are something. Just exactly what, though, I have no idea.
Down to the final level of sinners for the sin of wrath. I can't believe it. We made it.
Be prepared, Danny. As you've already predicted, this is a particularly contested level. It is the epicenter of violence.
I see that already. But there's a reason why these sinners are being treated the way they are. I think unbridled anger is the worst of all sins. It's the root of hatred and bigotry.
That's true. And there are so many ways that we see wrathful behavior on Earth today. School and other public shootings, wars, genocide, racism, terrorists, jihadists, spousal abuse, rape, homophobia, it's all around us.
It's true. Wrath has been with us since the beginning of time. From Cain and Abel to the Crusades, to religions battling against each other in the name of their gods. Not to mention hate groups like the KKK, ISIS, skinheads, and the Westworld Church. Wrath and hatred have been with us for a long time.
That is true. Road rage, drive-by shootings, bullying. There are so many ways we see wrathful behavior every day. Even self-destructive behavior like drug and alcohol abuse, cutting ourselves, and attempts at suicide are forms of self-loathing, though wrathful acts directed towards ourselves.
Is that Cerebus the one who seems to be in charge down here?
Yes. In Greek mythology, she guarded the entrance to the underworld, their version of hell, and your ancestor Dante put her on the level of hell with the gluttons, but Electronicus felt that this level was more appropriate for her now.
That makes sense, given she seems pretty wrathful her own self.
Be brave. For us, her bark will be far worse than her bite. She will posture and try to intimidate us, but she knows better than to try and incur my wrath.
All right. If you say so. You've been right so far, but I'll still be glad once we're done with this level.
As will I, Danny.
Authentica. I heard of your folly. Daring to come down here, bring your little whelp with you. You think yourself safe from my rage. You think that I fear you and Electronicus.
Yes, I do, Cerberus. Now stop this foolishness. I'm not afraid of you. You waste our time. We will visit with you and Wrath. Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me.
What do I care what you do? I have my own business to attend to.
Not bad, Authentica. Not bad! We heard you were on your way. What do you want?
Just a few minutes of your time.
Well, I have plenty of that. I can spare some for you, I suppose. This must be your traveling companion, Danny! Looks like you're holding your own down here. So far!
So far so good, Brad. Nice to meet you.
Don't sweat it, man! I'm just screwing with you. Just because I'm Wrath doesn't mean I don't have a sense of humor. Unlike my constant companion, Cerberus here, she's sour grapes 24/7. So, what can I do for you?
We're just curious, Wrath, about how you came to be down here and why you take such pleasure in the misery of others.
What did the others tell you? It's our biological imperative. It's in our DNA. It's who we are. It's how people are wired. We're selfish, petty little monsters.
I don't agree with that, Rap. Not at all. It's not what I do, and it's not what a lot of people do. It's just a few of you. A sick and twisted few of you that get such pleasure out of hurting others.
You are a naive Boy Scout, aren't you? Look at human nature. Look at history. Look at the 7 of us who you have met today. We exist. We're inside of everyone. Some of us just hide it better than others.
You think you're so good? You've never gotten really, really angry at someone, never wished they were dead or maimed? Then you're a liar! It isn't all of you!
But there's a big difference between a brief thought that goes quickly away and murdering 6 million Jews, or withholding the voting rights, the very voices of an entire race, and then murdering them too.
And even if we give you that there are some who hate just to hate, and I'm sure Yik Yak has made that all too obvious as of now, there are many more who don't. There's many more out there who don't hate just for the sake of hating.
Take the blinders off, kid. Look at the world around you. People are dying every day at the hands of other people. Been that way for centuries. Do you see it slowing down any? I sure don't.
Yeah. And even if it is just a small majority doing most of our dirty work, they've got some heavy-duty tools now. Just a handful of zealots can take out a whole lot of people.
As long as there are people who see things differently, who believe in different gods, who have skin that is different, who love someone that somebody else thinks they shouldn't, I will be there, stirring that pot, cooking up that rage, and you all will take it from there.
Your words ring truer than I'd like to admit, Brad.
But that doesn't mean we stop fighting, Authentica. There's been a lot of people that have been fighting this fight for centuries, and we're not going to stop now.
Knock yourself out, kid.
That's enough of this prattle. I grow tired of your nonsense. You've wasted enough of our time.
You're right, Sir Bruce. We need to be moving on, Danny. Let's go.
Deuces!
Well. In the name of Hewlett and Packard, what an unexpected surprise! You two actually made it.
You have always underestimated me, Electronicus. Not to mention you knew perfectly well how we were progressing. You were monitoring us the whole time, I'm sure. You have eyes everywhere.
And this must be Danny. How lovely to meet you at last. I must say, you have lived up to all my expectations.
Pleasure to meet you.
Well, what do you two have to say for yourselves? I trust your experiences were instructive.
Yes, they were. Very. But not in ways that you're likely to appreciate.
Oh, Authentica, how tedious you are, and always such a critic. Don't crash your browser. Do I tell you how to run your railroad?
Yes, as a matter of fact, you do. Constantly.
But, of course she'd say that. Well, out with it. You've had your visit. What will you have us discuss now? What have you learned? I'm dying to know.
Well, while you certainly have capitalized on introducing electronics and technology into society today, you don't own new technology completely. There's still a lot of good to be done with it.
That's true, Electronicus. Just because you don't want to do good with technology doesn't mean that we can't. Authentica has just as much a right as you do to have an influence on today's technology.
Uh-huh. Figures. Now you'll think you have to horn in my business all the time, won't you, Authentica?
Never thought of it any other way. Especially since during our journey I noticed that the basics of human nature can still become the foundations of the seven sins. Technology can be abused and misused, but when it actually comes to sinning, people still have the responsibility to make their own choices.
Yes, as much as I'd like to say people are led into sin by factors outside of their control, we have considerable say in our choices. Yes, some people will be led into sin by unforeseen circumstances, but the cold, hard truth is most of us sin because we're too weak not to.
See? See? We told you all along. Mark my Zuckerberg's password. It's human nature to sin.
You missed the point as usual, Electronicus. It's not human nature to sin, but it is human to be weak and to make poor choices. To let misfortune or bad choices lead you down the wrong path. You and your ilk are nothing more than opportunistic bullies, preying on the weak.
I see. No reason for personal attacks. I do my job, and you try to do yours. I just happen to be better at mine than you are at yours. You're just jealous that people are flocking to me and abandoning you by the droves.
I hardly think so, Electronicus. Yes, many are seduced by you and your minions, but many more flock to me and make good decisions with their lives.
Oh, I beg to differ. You've seen firsthand the fruits of my labor. Sexting, texting, glorious all-you-can-eat buffets. Yeah! And that just scratches the surface. There's also murder, rape, hate crimes, racism. The world swells with my work.
But you choose to ignore the good in the world. There are plenty of amazing people out there that are volunteering, helping the homeless, making new life-changing inventions, finding cures for diseases. You just want to look at the world through your own lens, not anybody else's.
Pish posh. Just a few isolated do-gooders. They're merely trying to clean up what they consider to be my mess. They try to sweep it all under the rug, but more dust always falls. Oh well, by the good name of Yik Yak, just more cleaning for them to do. But then, who's appearing on Fox News? Who gets the headlines on CNN? Who is on the cover of the National Enquirer? My people, that's who.
I hardly consider that something to crow about, Electronicus. What about the people who are harnessing solar and wind power? Those who are creating sustainable ways to grow crops? And those who are helping build houses and schools for the unfortunate?
Yes, there are many people out there who are doing amazing things that don't want publicity for it. They just want to do good.
You and your puppy dog just don't get it, Authentica. You refuse to see it my way. You spent the whole day down here and have no appreciation for the beauty of my plan. You don't see the intricacy of my work. It's delicacy. The delicious irony of it all. I offer them the choice. good or evil, law or chaos, humanity or technology, whatever it might be, and they choose me. They don't choose you. They choose me.
No, I get it, Electronicus. I see all of that very clearly. More clearly than you can imagine, but that's still not the point. Yes, of course, some do choose you, but many more do not. Yes, your servants grab headlines, but mine work behind the scenes, doing far more good than your minions do evil.
You can't just dismiss my toys like that. They'll eventually be your undoing, Authentica. It's just like you to overload your server and make a big fuss out of nothing. You're wrong! Wrong! Wrong!
Electronicus? Ours is a dance that has gone on for millennia, and that will go on for many more. You may introduce new elements such as technology to the game, but the roots of sin remain the same. And people have to continue to make their own decisions about how they behave, how they treat one another, and how they use technology.
That's true, Electronicus. There will always be those who are anxious to follow you, to believe in what you do and take the easy way out. But there will always be many, many more who choose Authentica.
Ah! You two know-it-all think you're so smart. I should have known that you'd never get it. And I should have known that you'd never admit that I'm right. That my way is better. Your time is coming to an end, Authentica. Be prepared and pray that I treat you with mercy when you fall.
We shall see what we shall see, Electronicus. I make no predictions other than that you and I will continue our jousting for a long time to come. I'm not going anywhere, but neither are you, worthy cub. You'll see that when the sting of our visit subsides.
You overstay your welcome, woman. Your day is up. It's past time you left. And you? Well, I'll remember you. You better watch your step up on Earth. You've made some enemies today.
Choose your next words with care, Electronicus. You do not want to take this too far. Shall we keep this civil?
You don't appreciate my little joke then? LOL. My most sincerest apologies to you both then. Danny, I hope you enjoyed our hospitality. And I hope your visit has proven to be instructional for both of you.
Good evening, Electronicus. And thank you, our other hosts, for your hospitality. Our visit has proven to be most instructional. As always, it's been a pleasure to work with you. Let us take our leave now, Danny.
Thank you, Electronicus.
Consider a professional courtesy, Authentica. And good evening to you both. Sharon, please see our guest out. Well, what are you all standing around here gawking at? Show's over. Get back to work. We've wasted enough time with this nonsense. And don't get any bright ideas from that sanctimonious do-gooder either. We're done here. And all of you? Well, get the hell out.
Hey, what's the drum?
Ooh, girl, you're shining like a Fifth Avenue diamond. They don't make you like they used to. You're never going out of style. Ooh, pretty baby, this world might gone crazy. The way you treat me, who can blame me when I just wanna make you smile? I wanna treat you like
so classic. Oh, a dozen roses, anything for you to notice. All the way to serenade you, doing it's not style. I'ma pick you up in a Cadillac like a gentleman, bring it glamour back, keep it real to real in the way I feel. I could walk you down the aisle. I wanna do you like Michael, I wanna kiss you like Prince. Let's get it on like Marvin Gaye, like Hathaway. Write a song for you like this. You're over my head, I'm out of my mind, thinking I was wrong in the wrong time. Stop and rewind, everything is so throwback-ish. I kinda like it how you're out of my league. Old school chic, like the movie star from the silver screen. You're one of a kind, living in a world gone plastic. Baby, you're so classic. Baby, you're so classic. Baby, you're so classic.
Baby, you're class and baby, you're sick. I never met a girl like you ever till we met. A star in the 40s, centerfold in the 50s.